Hello, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. I'm Farhad from Think High Consultants, and I have with me Mr. Malik Khwaja from we represent Think High Consultants. Today, we are going to discuss about the data sponsorship, particularly for the skill migration, and mostly we'll be focusing on the generic requirements and how we can apply for the status sponsorship and how to build your profile, everything. So we'll share some tips, tricks, and techniques with you guys and how we can help you out. Although we are at the end of our financial year, but there is still some hope and the quota is still remaining so that you can make the best use of it. So once again, let's just start the introductory part again. We represent Think Hard Consultants. We are located at level 3, 105 Queen Street, Melbourne. So just a few minutes of walk from the industry station. You can email us anything if you need any query applications at thinkhigher.com.au. Our phone number is also provided at the bottom. It's +61435 So, and the same number, we are available on WhatsApp as well. So, without doing any further delay, so we will start our discussion. So, Malik, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for introducing me and the company, and I hope that our audience have the multicultural audience. There might be some Muslims viewing us, so happy Ramadan to you guys. Hope your fastings are going well wherever you are in this world. So yeah, let's begin.
So let's start with the probably the most popular and the most desired one nowadays, Tasmania. So for the state sponsorship, let's say through the study pathway. I mean, how they can go for it.
Sure. So as Farad mentioned, that Tasmania is a hot state at this moment when compared to other states, and Tasmania was also being the first one when it was introduced that they are opening the state study options. Then a lot of migrants from Victoria and different part of the Australia went to Tasmania and then did the minimum requirement for through the study pathway and got their 491 approved. So I'll go one by one. So for Tasmania study pathway, if you want to go with the study one, so for 491, which is subclass 491, which is a provisional visa that leads to a PR visa. Once you get the 491 visa, after that you have to spend 3 years more on that visa, working full time, and then your annual income should be 53,900 per year, as well as you must have a living evidence that you lived in Tasmania or any regional state, and then you can apply for the 191 visa, which is a permanent visa. So that was the background for the subclass 491. So now if you want to apply for the subclass 491 through study pathway, what you need to do is like Tasmania have recently introduced a priority occupational list, and that priority occupation list has some occupations. So if you study in those occupational lists, which has almost 8 to 9 occupations listed, if you study on those occupations for 1 year at least, you will be meeting the minimum requirement to apply for the 491 Tasmania State Study Pathway option. Now there are some work requirements for some specific occupations. So let's say if we go one by one, I'll discuss few occupations which has the work requirement, and the rest of them we'll put some links, and then you can also contact us to our office to inquire about that one. So first thing comes is the hospitality industry. So if you want to study something in the hospitality industry, you have to do at least minimum of certificate 3 course, which could be in the commercial cookery or pastry, or it could be in the hospitality if you want to become a restaurant manager, if you want to become a cook or chef. So certificate 3 is the minimum, and you must have to show at least 6 months of work experience in Tasmania. Now the interesting part is that the 6 months of work experience could be a placement as well. Okay, so let's say for certificate 3, your course requirement is to complete at least 360 hours of vocational placement. So those 360 hours of vocational placement are as well going to count as a work experience to apply for the nomination. So choose those colleges which are offering the vocational placement. So you will meet at least 4 months of requirement from that.
Yep.
And the only remaining 2 months you need to do the extra work, and then you can apply for the nomination. So this is for the commercial corporate or any hospitality course. Similar, if you go for the logistics, like so in logistics comes the mechanics, so automotive mechanics and any transportation industry if you belong to, then you can do 1 year that course. Same like commercial cookie, you have to do the 6 months of experience. Okay. Now one more thing. Let's say if you're moving from different state to Tasmania, and you have an experience of 1 year within the last 3 years in that industry, then that 6 months of experience in Tasmania would be waived out. Okay. So if you are an experienced individual who have okay, let me give you an example. So you did a certificate 4 in commercial cookery, and then you applied for your 485 visa. You completed the job ready program, which is for 1 year. So that 1 year is a recent 1 year within the last 3 years. So you have meet that requirement. The only thing you need to do is to study a diploma of hospitality in Tasmania or certificate 3 in Tasmania, which should be at least quite course week of 1 year. That comes to I think somewhere around 49 weeks. And then if you include holidays, that course will be as per the practice 52 weeks. So minimum is 49 weeks, but since there are holidays and then the term breaks, so that goes to like final 52 weeks. So those are the two streams which ask you to have a work experience. Other than that, they have some occupations in the aged care, disability care, agriculture, aquaculture, building and construction, and I think manufacturing engineering, energy. And so likewise, if you want to apply for the subclass 190, so subclass 190 is actually a direct PR, but through the state option. For that, similar set of requirement, but instead of 1 year, you have to study 2 years. Occupation, this is same sort of work experience requirements like 6 months in Tasmania for commercial hospitality industry and the logistic industry. And others, you can just study and apply at the end. Now, there are some more things that Tasmania wants from you. They want from you the commitment. So you have to show your commitment to the state. So let's say if you just studied the course, okay, in Tasmania for hospitality or mechanics or any other industry, and you have occupation skill assessment as an accountant, okay. So if you are going there and apply for the nomination, the Tasmania government going to ask like you did the accounting in the past. Now you came here to do the disability support and stuff. Why would they give you the invitation? So you have to show some commitment like showing the work experience that you're working in Tasmania, regardless of the occupation, but they do prefer if you work in the priority industry. So those occupations that are listed in the priority list, if you try to work in that industry, then you will have higher chances for the nomination than other person. So that's all for the Tasmania 491 and 190 for the study pathway. Further, if you have anything, you can add up more.
Yeah. So yeah, so you have pretty much covered almost all the information, but just about the commitment statement, as Malik has just mentioned that we need to provide that during the application. So it has a great value, and it needs to be provided connecting all of your skills and experiences. So downloading a template over the internet won't be beneficial for you unless you are not able to present yourself. That's why you choose this pathway. You were maybe an accountant, then you went for aged care studies. So you need to connect the dots. So even recently we have got a couple of invitations for Tasmania 491, even for 190 as well. So most of the cases were pretty much similar. Even one occupation was taxation accountant, which was wasn't even Tasmania's preferred occupation list. So, but still we got the nomination because we prepared the commitment statement in such a way that the state will believe that applicant is an asset, and certainly applicant was an asset, but it just depends how we present the case to each and to the case officer. So that's why I think we always encourage that come for us, come to meet us, or book an appointment for free consultation, and we can help you certainly with the state sponsorship. Because although yes, points are important, your credentials are important, but certainly we can assist you how to present your case more professionally because we submit decision ready applications. So that case officer doesn't even request anything and we get the outcome straight away. So Malik, yes, so we'll probably move to the next state. So we have
Sure.
Northern Territory,
Sure.
Darwin.
Sure. So before discussing the next state for Northern Territory, I would like to specify a few things. So in order to apply for the 491 visa subclass in any of the states, you must have an expression of interest which is lodged on 65 points.
Yes.
So what that means is like you must have at least minimum of 50 points from your age, qualification, English or other point testing categories. But the 15 points that you're going to get is from the state just by applying for 491. So as long as you have 50 points minimum, you can apply for the 491. And if you have at least 60 points minimum from that area, the 5 points the state gonna give you, and that becomes 65. So you can apply for 190. So that's the minimum requirement in order to be eligible to apply for these subclasses. Then on top of that, you have to meet the nomination requirement, which is which we just discussed for the study pathway and other pathway. Okay. So for the NT, so if you go for the NT study pathway, here either you apply for 491 or 190. You have to study at least 2 years in Northern Territory. Now, for Northern Territory, they don't have any specific occupation list for the study. So you can study anything as long as it covers a 92 weeks dry course duration in Tasmania. It could be a nested course. Again, they do prefer that it should be a nested course. But if you are doing two separate courses and making it a 2 years of study, and if you have a strong commitment plan, that also be accepted by Northern Territory. So let's say if you're an accountant in Victoria or New South Wales or other state, and then you don't see any hope in the other state at the moment, and you have very less money. So what you're gonna do? What you're gonna do is that you move to Northern Territory, study there for 2 years. Meanwhile, you study there for 2 years. To show the commitment to Northern Territory, you must have the evidence that you were applying for jobs in accounting and IT. You didn't went there just to study something. You also went there to look for jobs in your relevant field, which is your nominated occupation. So if you're applying for the jobs, you must continuously apply for the job for the whole 2 years. It doesn't matter if you get the job or not, as long as you have the evidence that you did struggle to get the to apply for the job, and you can also show that why you did this course in Northern Territory, what is going to benefit you in future, your previous background, that if you had a previous experience in other state or overseas, that also complements you to more chances to get the nomination approved. So, to put it simple, for 491, you have to study 2 years, and then with that evidence of job employability that you applied for the whole 2 years, at the end you can apply for the 491 nomination. And if you want to go for the 190 subclass, then same thing, you have to study 2 years. You must have the evidence of employability. Plus, post completion of your 2 years study, you must have to work 6 months in your nominated occupation. Okay. Now, sometimes the NT also consider that if you are not working in the nominated occupation, it could be a closely related occupation. Now, what is a closely related occupation? It's like there is an ANSCO group. Okay. So ANSCO code is consist of 6 digits. So if you are working in an occupation which matches at least the first 4 digits of the ANSCO code, then you can also work in that occupation and claim that you work in that occupation post study for 6 months, and you can apply for the 190. Now for the 190, mostly those applicants who are currently on student visa and they want to move now to NT and study, the 190 would be applicable to them as of now because they can complete this study, apply for a 485 visa, work on the 485 for 6 months, and apply for 190 visa. Those who have already used the 485 visa, they can move there and then study for 2 years and then apply for the 491. So that's what the NT study pathway. And then if anything else for you to add.
Yeah, so just like Tasmania, even for NT 491, We also need to provide commitment statement as well. And for commitment statement, it should be aligned with your experience and skills and why you want to stay here. And certainly that yes, as Malik said, that evidence of employability that you actually tried to get a job, but you didn't get it. So you need to merge them together. You need to provide them evidence. It's the application date or anything. When you apply for any job, you get an email confirmation. So you need to demonstrate those abilities and those evidence. So it should be at least, I mean, ever since you moved to NT, you need to show emails from there. So it shouldn't be like just 1 week prior to the application submission. So it shows more strength on your application and more commitment if you can show that you started to apply for jobs earlier. Because if you have already availed your 485 and then you applied for student visa and moved there, so that means most of the time, or even let's say in any case, you should have a skill assessment. So in your skill occupation, you can keep on applying for jobs, and it will provide more impression on your application that actually you would be an asset to the NT. So even Malik, as you know, that we have got a couple of NT grants nomination approval. We have 100% success rate so far for NT 491 applications. Even someone who wasn't even working in any other field, just driving Uber and everything, we prepared the commitment statement in such a way so that it looks compelling. And then case officer even granted the nomination within maybe 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it was pretty quick
Yeah.
for them as well. For such occupation which is in the lower level category like accountants and all the stuff. So and also driving Uber and taxi. So you can see like how much we would have worked on the commitment statement to show them like he or she is the person to get nominated for the 491 or 193 sponsorship. So yep, so that's interesting. And also with from them we got more references and then more people came to us.
Yep.
And then apply for the nomination, they also get granted.
Yep.
So we would also suggest you guys to contact us on the details that are mentioned on the footer, on our email or phone number, and definitely we can definitely help you out with this situation. Yes, correct.
Yeah. So yeah, Malik. So we'll move to the next stage. So let's talk about South Australia now. South Australia is they have pretty different streams, and then we'll just quickly give them the information.
Sure. I think we should take a break for a few seconds so that more audience can join us,
Okay.
and then we'll get back to us. So
Okay, let's have a quick break then. Please stay tuned.
Skilled Migration Visa Assistance. Australia is now offering permanent residency status to general skilled migration visa holders. Stay connected with us to get updated information on Skilled Independent Visa, Subclass 189, Skilled Nominated Visa, Subclass 190, Skilled Sponsored Visa, Subclass 491, and Skilled Regional Visa, Subclass 887. Contact Think Higher Consultants at thinkhigher.com.au.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. So we'll just rehearse a little bit. Farhad and I have with us Mr. Malik Khwaja. We represent Think Higher Consultants. Today we're doing a live session on focusing on the state sponsorship, how to apply, particularly through the study pathway. We are providing the generic information, and we are also sharing some tips and how to submit a registration-ready application to maximize to increase the possibility of getting it approved. So far we have discussed Tasmania and NT nominations approval and how to apply for the nomination. If you have missed that, so you don't need to worry about that. You can anytime, it will be on our Facebook page whenever you get time, so you can just go through. And if you have any question, feel free to drop your comments on the Facebook post, or just feel free to give us a call or email us. We are already providing you the contact details at the bottom in the banner. So yes, so Malik, as we discussed that, let's start with South Australia now then.
sure. Before this, just one quick tip. If you you guys are watching now, a quick tip is that if you are moving to any state for study or any work thing, make sure you keep the record of your travel ticket. That's super important because you have to show that you were there or you went there when to meet the requirements. So you have to show the living requirements, which is going to start from the day you landed there. So you must have that ticket. Try to get a boarding pass with you. Keep the copy of that or take a photo of that so that even if the text is not visible, then at least you have this snapshot when you went there. Okay. Now South Australia. Okay. So for South Australia, they have a separate occupation list. So for each occupation, the requirement for study is different. So there are some occupations, especially the trade occupations, where they require the study level for a diploma. So you have to study at least 1 year of diploma study in South Australia in order to meet the at least minimum eligibility requirement for the study pathway in South Australia. But if you go with the professional occupations such as accountants or engineers or customer service managers and stuff like that, so for that you guys need to have at least minimum bachelor's or master's qualification in South Australia. Now, the interesting part is that South Australia also accepts you if you have completed at least 50% of your course. So let's say it is a diploma of 2 years. If you study there for 1 year diploma, the remaining, and the college has to be same. So if you study in a college which has a campus in South Australia as well, study here for 1 year, move to South Australia, complete your study there, meet the other requirement which we're going to discuss after that, and then apply for the nomination. Now coming for the requirements, so as I mentioned that for each occupation there's separate requirement. You can check it on the South Australia website, and then if you subscribe to our newsletter on our website, we'll put the link somewhere there. Just go to the website, subscribe to the newsletter, and you will get the different update for each state, how to apply, what are the requirements, the links to open the occupation list. For a specific requirement for each occupation, you will be able to find that. So I would suggest to go there and subscribe now. Okay. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel because this thing is live on YouTube, it's live on Facebook, so you will get updated with that one. Now coming back to the occupation list. So in most of the occupation list, almost most of the occupations, the requirement is if you are doing a bachelor's degree or master's degree in South Australia, post-bachelor's, there are two streams for the study pathway I mentioned. One pathway is that you have to study in South Australia, work in South Australia post-study for 3 months, and then to apply for the nomination for 491 or 190, depends on how many points you have. So if you are lacking points, like if you have 50 points and then 15 points you are getting from the state, and meeting this requirement, 2 years of study or 1 year of study, master's or bachelor's, 3 months of work, you can apply for 491. And if you have 60 points plus 5 points on the state, you can apply for 190, meaning the same requirement. Now the other stream for the study pathway is through the talent and innovator stream. So with talent or innovator stream, if you are doing a master's course or bachelor's or even diploma, your CGPA to apply for the 190 state sponsorship should be between 6 to 6.99. And if you are applying for the 491 subclass, the CGPA you must have is 5 to 5.99. So that's, you need to make sure that you must have that CGPA. Plus, you need to, other than the commitment plan, you have to submit a separate document of a 2-page explaining that why they should consider you in the talent and innovator universe, why you think that you have a separate, a unique talent, that you will get a good job once you get the nomination approved. So that also, for that we also help our clients with the statements, and then help them to prepare their statement, guide them to review their statement. So for that, if you need our help, definitely you can contact us. And then, as Fred mentioned, details are on the footer down below. Yeah, so that's what the study pathway is. And if I missed something, you can just add it on.
Yep. So yeah, so that's the GPA one is we have for the high graduate stream. So that's just to add here that there is also another one called the independent stream. So in the independent stream, you should have 90 points overall for 189, and then plus 5 you get it when you select 190. For the independent talent stream, you also need to have proficient plus English, which is 7.5 IELTS or equivalent. So in each module. And plus, and about the commitment statement, it should be within 400 words. So within 400 words, it gives you the flexibility to present your case and your experience. So that, and also it should focus on the state growth as well. South Australia has provided some information on their focus target sectors and everything. So you should just need to focus on that. And as we are expert in this field, so we can guide you. We have plenty of clients even from South Australia. We haven't even met them yet so far, but they have got their 491 grant already through us, through South Australia and 190 as well. So it's just a communication which we maintain to ensure that you get the most desired outcome, because at the end of the day, we need the invitation through the state nomination so that you can apply for the PR visa, whether it is 190 or 491. Yes, so Malik, we can certainly, these things are pretty elaborate, so we're just giving the generic information, and certainly if anyone is meeting the requirement and they have more questions, they're welcome to contact us. So for a detailed explanation and detailed discussion on their case.
Yes, and also we would be more than happy if you put down some comments in this video, either now during the live session, we will also answer those questions, as well as if you get time or if you see this video, you can also drop down the comments and we'll definitely answer that one. Or you can send us an email or book an appointment with us.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So Malik, let's just quickly move to the part Western Australia. The requirement.
Okay, so Western Australia requirements are pretty simple. So first thing is you need to make sure that your occupation is in the list. Okay. Now by saying in the list, they have two separate lists. Most of our clients and other audience, they get confused in the occupation list for the Western Australia. They sometimes consider the graduate list with the work list. Okay, so the work experience based list is different. The graduate stream list is different. So make sure you read the title on the Western Australia page, or you just subscribe to our newsletters and you'll get the proper information with that one. So by saying that, you need to make sure that your occupation is in the graduate stream list. So what you need to do is to study in Western Australia for at least 2 years, meeting the 92-week core course requirement. Okay, this requirement is same to apply for the 485 visa. So study there for 2 years, and then you must have at least a job offer. Okay, for the next 6 months, and that job offer has to be continuous job offer. So you must already have a job offer. You must already started working with them, and then you have a future job for the 6 months. Similarly, if you don't have a job offer for the future 6 months, if you have worked already for 6 months, okay, now this work already for 6 months is a post-study work. Okay, so you can't claim that you already worked for 6 months in the past and then you apply. Okay, if that's the case, then you must have an offer for another 6 months to that company. Okay, but if that's not the case, then post-study work for 6 months and then apply for the nomination. Same thing in Western Australia, so you have to see the occupation list. So they have divided the occupations and then marked 491 and 190 separate for each occupation. So if you see occupation which has a 491 190 both ticked, that means that as soon as you meet the points requirement on the expression of interest, for 190 is 60 plus 5, 65. For 491 is 50 plus 15, 65, same. If you meet that requirement, the nomination requirement for both stream will be same. 2 years study, 6 months of job offer, or 6 months of experience post study. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it from my side.
Yes. So yeah, thank you, Malik. Then if you are in Western Australia and you are looking for some PR consultancy and how to prepare your case and how we can guide you accordingly, because for this we can also help you with the other requirements, because once you submit the expression of interest, if they invite you to apply for the nomination, so there will be certain documents required in order to ensure that you get your nomination approved. So the processing time could be a bit lengthy, but still, if all the documents are provided in proper manner, So then everything will be okay and you will get the successful outcome.
And I think the main part for the Western Australia is because since they don't have a separate nomination application, so what you need to do is to apply for the expression of interest and wait for the invitation.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if that's the case, then you need to make sure that the expression of interest you have lodged have all the information for you to get the invited. Because if you mentioned instead of 2 years of study, 1.5 years study, even though you have studied 2 years, you won't get the invite.
Yes.
Okay. If you haven't mentioned about your employment in the expression of interest, you won't get invited. So you need to make sure the expression of interest is lodged properly, and that's the reason why our clients they prefer us, the migration agents, to help them to launch their EOI as well as the nomination application once they get invited. That's what.
Yes, thank you, Malik. So yes, so that's the basic update we have for Western Australia. Let's move to a Australian Capital Territory, Canberra updates quickly.
Okay, so Canberra is a very complex state, but you must have heard online that they have a lot, like lots of occupation in their list, includes the IT occupations, some engineering occupations, okay, and then accountants, and then aged care, and then those kind of occupations are already there. But their requirements for to the study, since they don't have any specific study pathway, but they have a separate matrix point system. Okay, so in that matrix point system, they gave the opportunity for those who just recently applied for the 485 visa in order to claim the 5 points or 10 points or 15 points, depends on how many years you study there. If you study in ACT, either a tri-course based course of 1 year or professional year course. Now, the professional year can be done by engineering graduate, an IT graduate, or accounting graduate. So, if you belong to those three category of occupation, you can either study 1 year of professional year course, or you can study 1 year of tri-course course. Okay, so it has to be at least one thing. Or if you want to claim more points, like 10 points for the 2 years of study, what you can do is to do your professional year. This is going to give you an advantage of getting 5 points extra. It will help you to apply for the skill assessment for the IT occupation as well as for the accounting occupation. And then post your PY, you can do 1 year more course for diploma. And that will make 2 years of study. You can claim for 10 points in your metric system. Okay, this will give you edge on other students or other applicants who are applying there through work-based pathway. Okay, so yeah. So if you want to study the complex structure of the matrix point stuff, definitely you can contact us and get a separate private appointment with our migration agents, with us, and then definitely we'll help you out with this. For anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, so one additional advantage, I mean, for Canberra matrix system is, even if you are not working in your skilled occupation, let's say you are working in some other occupation, which is for that even you can get some points as well from there. So for ACT employment, you get additional points. Certainly, if you work in a skilled occupation, that's a very good opportunity for you. And if you are married and your partner has also skilled occupation, then certainly it increases your chance of getting the invite on Canberra Matrix.
I think the Canberra is the only state who prefer and then give more points to those who are married than comparing with the other state of direct professional, direct PR. Okay, because they give points for if your spouse is working in an occupation, any occupation, or if it's in the skilled occupation, more points with that. If your spouse has good English, you get more points of that. So if you're married and then you just recently got a 485, that's the perfect chance for you to move to ACT and then complete the requirements there. It will be an easy pathway for you. Even after 1 year, you will be meeting the minimum requirement for that. Yes, sir.
Yes, Malik, yeah. So that's a quick review on ACT. Certainly, there are other pathways as well. So they have a pretty big, they have a different point testing system, as you know, for Canberra Matrix. So if your Canberra Matrix is selected, then they will invite you to apply for the state nomination application. And whatever the points you have claimed, you need to prove those in the applicant nomination application by uploading all the documents as per the requirement. Canberra also requires some additional documents which need to be submitted. We are aware of it, and we usually help our client to fill those forms and everything, so that the moment we get the update on the Canberra metrics, so that we can submit the state nomination application as soon as possible.
Yes.
Yes, so Malik, so let's talk about our home now.
Okay.
So Victoria ROI registration of interest, the last round about May.
Yes.
So they just opened today, and we have launched a couple of ROIs today, and then we'll be keep on doing that until up to May 20th.
So I'll explain. So those who are recent graduate in Victoria, the Victoria encourage them to apply for the registration of interest. And if you have done PhD, that's perfect. If you have done masters as well, that also counted as a recent graduate. If you did cookie course for 2 years, that's also a recent graduate pathway. So what you need to do is to, if you want to apply for a 491 registration of interest, you must have studied for 2 years in Victoria, anywhere in Victoria. It doesn't have to be a regional Victoria. You must have worked for at least 3 months already in the regional part of Victoria, anywhere in the regional Victoria. And you must have lived while working in the regional Victoria. So it can't be like you're working in the metro, or you're living in the metro area and then working in regional, or you're working in the regional area and then living in the metro. Same thing. So it has to be both in the regional area. You can apply for a 491 registration of interest. And similarly, if you want to apply for the 190 ROI, it has to be 6 months, but it could be anywhere in Victoria, regional or metro, and living environment anywhere in Victoria. The target sector, they ask for the 491 or the 5 sectors, which comes to health sector, medical research, life science, agriculture, and the digital sector, the IT guys. Okay. And if you want to target 190, they have only 2 sectors, which includes health sector and the medical research. However, it's not limited, since they encourage the recent graduate to apply for the nomination. They also consider if you have contributed during the COVID period to Victoria economy in some way through your skills as well as with your business. If your business has contributed a lot to the Victoria economy in those sectors or any other sectors which help Victoria to get good, then also you can apply for the nomination and get granted with that. So since it's the last round, we would definitely encourage you. The dates for the application is they started from today, and the last deadline is 10th of May, 5 p.m. Yes, so 5 p.m. it has to be sharp. You have to apply before that time. And in order to apply for ROI, you need to lodge an expression of interest first. Then you can only lodge for the ROI. Okay, so you need to make sure you don't lodge the ROI without completing your expression of interest. Anything you want to add further?
So as Malik said, as you said already, so we always encourage any potential applicants to lodge ROI, because one advantage is it's free of charge. Victoria doesn't charge a single penny for that. So once you submit the ROI, if your registration of interest is selected, so on May, so they will give us the update on May 21st, whether your ROI is selected or not. If it is selected, they will give you 14 days to apply for the state nomination application. And even for the state nomination application, Victoria doesn't charge anything. So without even paying anything, you are getting closer to your ultimate ultimate goal, which is the permanent residency. One tricky part about registration of interest, Malik, is the statements which we need to provide.
Yeah.
So applicants don't need to write bigger commitment statement and everything, but they only have 1,500 characters each.
Yes.
To mention the purpose of the business, and then also another statement how their experience and qualification are aligned with the COVID-19 response or economic recovery.
Yes, and it has to be specific, as for mentioned, 1,500 characters, which include spaces as well. So it should be pretty short, but you have to be pretty specific. You need to target the COVID as well as those sectors which you are applying for. So let's say if you're working in the agri-food industry, and you must have to target that agri-food industry, you must have to mention agri-food, you must have to mention COVID-19, you must have to mention that you've been working in during the COVID period, your business wasn't shut down, or if it was shut down, then you were the one who was actively working in that business. So something like that you have to mention. So definitely we are here to help you out point out those points and then help you prepare the proper statement so that your ROF can get approved easily for the next round.
Yes, Malik. Yeah. Thank you for the information. Yes. So we still have time, and we don't know that what sort of changes are coming. So if you are still you have a little bit of doubt, or if you want to discuss anything about your case about Victoria registration of interest, which is ongoing now, don't hesitate to give us a call so that we can have a discussion. In fact, we got a couple of clients from our live session, and we have already got their state nomination as well. So this is a good opportunity for you that just to try whether I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to find a solution for you. Please do not hesitate to contact us. We are just one phone call away to help you out with that.
And if you need to know the experience of our clients who got invited, and also those who are happy with our service, you can also visit our Facebook page, check out our reviews. We have video testimonials there, we have written reviews as well, and then you can then decide to contact us. Will definitely help you out with that. Yes,
yeah. So yeah, thank you, Malik. It was a pretty informative session, and hopefully our audience who will be joining later as well, even if they see the post on the Facebook page. So if they have any queries, certainly they can drop us their queries, and we would give our maximum effort to help them out. So thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for your time, Malik, as well.
thank you both.
Yes. So hopefully we'll again we'll have our live session again, probably with some more good news and with more updates, because we are expecting then again the state won't be closed like for a longer period like they did in the last financial year. So this will improve the chances of getting invitations, and probably they will add more target sectors as well. So, so we are pretty optimistic about that. So if you are still stuck and you haven't got any update yet on your ROI or maybe any of the states, please do not lose hope. Certainly, there will be some good news waiting for you in the coming months. So thank you very much. So we're signing off from Think High Consultants. Hope to see you soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Think High Consultants. We are registered education and migration consultants, offer following services: student visas, admissions, change of course of provider, skilled migration visas, temporary activity visas, employer sponsored visas, partner visas, parent visas, health cover for all types of visas, visitor tourist visas, business visas, NATI CCL preparation classes, professional year programs, IELTS and PT classes, coaching programs for new education and migration agents, and many more.
Contact Think Higher Consultants to provide personalized and on-spot services leads to permanent visa pathways and Australian citizenship. Facebook/Think Higher Consultants. Twitter/Think Higher House. Instagram/Think Higher Consultants.